What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. I want to give you guys some news, some things that are happening here, and some of it's pretty good actually. According to the article I read, Cambodia has achieved 95% vaccination on the 10 million people they need to vaccinate to reach that 80% mark. So that's good news. People are getting vaccinated. There's already been over almost 700,000 people who have already received their first booster shot. However, they're going to be pushing for more people to get it. But people can't get it until at least 6 months after their initial vaccines. So it's going to take some time to get that number up a little bit because of the waiting period. Hello. But that's good news, and they've also vaccinated about 85% of adolescents between the ages of 12 and 18. So they're getting it done pretty quick. Happy for that. Also, Phnom Penh has announced that they are getting ready to reopen schools in certain districts that aren't affected as much by the virus as other districts. So opening schools is going to happen soon, at least in some areas that don't have a high number of cases. And of course, they're going to do it with all the precautions in place, and that's what they're working on right now. How many kids per classroom, mask mandates, sanitizing stations, and all that. So, we got a lot of barking dogs today, and a big pile of dirt right here in the middle of the road. But yeah, all that's pretty good news. And also, something I didn't know, last Friday, was Vulture Awareness Day. Did you guys know that? Because I didn't know that. Apparently there's a day devoted just for vulture awareness. Yeah, this might have been a mistake. These dogs are visiting. Hey. It's okay. I'll let these guys have their... Okay. Come on. All right. We're getting out of your territory, guys. By the way, if you move here and you're looking for an apartment, don't do it on this side of the area. Because you're going to have that all the time. But yeah, there's a Vulture Awareness Day I wasn't aware of. And I don't know if that was just in Cambodia or everywhere. But they're saying that vultures need more protection here in Cambodia. So I guess that's a thing. Something I wasn't even aware of. Also, don't forget, our goal for the month is $500 in donations. In case you don't know, in case you haven't been paying attention, or maybe it's just your first time here, I love my supporters. You guys are amazing. And if you want to, you can jump in on that train. Really need to get some stuff done here in the next few days, so any donations are greatly appreciated. And if it's your first time, I'll give you stuff. Give you copies of my book sent right to your email. You'll also receive my weekly exclusive videos at least once a week, I sit down and talk about things that my supporters want to hear about. They tell me the topics they want, and I'll go out and do my best to give them that information. So be sure to get in on that. And if you're already a supporter and you're going to donate this month, well, you know what to do. All the links are down below for anybody. Links to my PayPal, buymeacoffee.com, and of course my Patreon. It's all appreciated. I love you guys. And you help keep us going here, doing our little thing. So please, if you want to, consider donating, and I will add you to the list of good people for my Christmas list. I'll be like Santa Claus. And one more thing I want to plug here. I've always had a fascination with bugs and insects. Decided to do something about it. I'm taking a course in entomology, and I decided to start a Facebook group so people from all over the world, no matter where you are, can share your pictures you take of insects or bugs as you're out and about, and also share any information you might have about those insects or bugs in your part of the world. Ecosystems in different parts of the world are, of course, all different. And so you might get some things there I might not see here. I might get some things here you might not see where you are. But if you want to join the group, that link's down below. And feel free to share pictures, information, anything you have bug related. It would be awesome if you want to do that. But only join if you're interested in that kind of thing. If not, as always with everything, no pressure. But I do want to put it out there. That link's in the description. I want to talk a little bit about safety here. Especially, now most of my audience are males. 97% to 3% according to my YouTube analytics. But I do occasionally get questions from females. And while this will apply to everybody mainly, I just want to assure the single female travelers and visitors to Cambodia about some things, and that concerns safety. How safe is Cambodia? What are the risks? And that kind of thing. Ooh, look at that. That's some good stuff there. Cambodia as a whole, and I've said this before in other videos, and I'll say it again, is the safest place I've ever visited. Now, I haven't visited too many places, but I mean, compared to like the United States or, you know, somewhere else. Oh, looks okay. Let's see what we got here. Yeah. Okay, we got a puddle here, and I don't think we can go back there because that is a yard. It appears as if we're about to get wet. But anyway, overall, Cambodia is a very, very safe country. If you look at any list about the, you know, top 10, top 15 safest countries to travel to, Cambodia will probably be on that list. But don't let that make you think like there's absolutely no crime here, because there is. There's crime everywhere. If you have people, you got crime. But overall, it's a very, very safe country. I walked around when I first got here, sometimes 3 or 4 in the morning, all the way from downtown back to my home on Street 20. And never had an issue, never had a problem. I've never been robbed, mugged, or anything like that. Although people have. Petty crime, opportunistic crimes have been on the rise since the pandemic because people are desperate. They're not making their income anymore. So they see a person walking down the street with a backpack or a purse or something slung over their shoulder. Nobody's around. They might be tempted to drive up or run up and snag it and take off. I mean, that's usually the crimes that happen here against foreigners. But as far as foreigners being victims of extremely violent crimes, that is very, very rare. I think there are two things, like most things in life, there are two extremes people take. One is to say, okay, Cambodia is the safest country. I'm going to take these chances and risks that I normally would, or that I normally wouldn't anywhere else. And that could be a mistake. And other people who might think, well, it's a strange country. I've heard rumors. It's full of crime, so I'm going to, wear a suit of armor. Lock myself inside. As soon as the street lights come on, I'm going to run for home and run for the hills. And both of those are I think, the wrong approach. You do want to be careful. I mean, a lot of it is common sense. You see a bunch of people down a dark alley and you hear voices and noise, probably don't go walking down that alley, Try to walk with other people if you can, and if you can't, and this is a big one here, it might not stop something from happening, but it will save you some hassle. Only carry with you the things you absolutely need and the things you can afford to lose. And that's it. So even if something happens, even if somebody pulls a knife on you for your backpack or purse, you can give it to them without worry about being injured, without worry about losing all your money or your passport or anything that's really, really important to you. If you're a male, don't put your wallet in your back pocket. It makes a noticeable bump that people might take advantage of in higher density situations, like when there's a lot of people for a lot of festivals. Not lately because of the virus, I know, but usually, like Khmer New Year, Bonham Tuk, those festivals have parties, and those parties attract a lot of people from all over Cambodia to Siem Reap. And you're elbow to elbow, inching your way through people at some points, and that's where the pickpockets ply their trade. Now, as a woman, Cambodia is a very conservative country. I've said that before. You don't see a lot of local women. Like when you're out during the day on a normal day, you don't see a lot of local women with too much exposed skin, right? They like to cover up, and a lot of that has to do with the culture and the heat, the heat. Like these girls on the bike, they're all covered up, long sleeves, long pants, simply because they don't want the sun beating down on their bare skin. Hello. But it's also a cultural thing. It's very conservative, and showing a lot of skin could give you a bad reputation. Now, I'm all for equality. I think women should be able to go anywhere in the world, dress the way they want to, as long as they're respecting the laws of that country, and not have to worry about being harassed, being catcalled, possibly getting their drinks spiked. You should be able to walk around the way that you feel comfortable and the way that makes you feel good about yourself without worrying about us guys being pervy about it. And I do believe that. And idealistically, that's what would happen. But realistically, because it's such a conservative country, if you do come over here and you're going to wear clothes you would wear in the West, even though in the West those might seem modest, you can expect some attention from the local men. It's just the way it is. Nothing really aggressive, although I have read posts where some females said they felt a little threatened by the persistence of some of these men. But generally, it's just typical misogynistic stuff some men do. They, the catcalling and the invitations for a drink, that kind of thing. But there are support systems in place. Not so much from the local police, because you don't see them out and about everywhere like you would back in the West. But the Khmer people, Cambodians, are really good at taking care of themselves. If they see somebody being attacked, even by another local, a mob mentality sets in. They don't want their country's reputation being ruined by having something happen to a foreigner. Not on their watch, buddy. There have been cases where a motorcycle has gone up to the side of a tuk-tuk, somebody has a camera out or something, the driver of the motorcycle snatches it and goes to take off. At one point he got stuck in traffic, and everybody that saw that happen just started mobbing him and kicking him and beating him. Just, you know, because they know he's a bad guy. So, and they don't want that reputation. And you're going to find that most of the time, the majority of the time, the vast majority of the time even, people here are very lovely, very friendly. All you have to do is use some common sense. And if you think it, like if you're walking down the street and you think somebody's following you, the best thing here just to turn around and look at them in the eye. Don't act nervous or scared, look them in the eye. Because I know we've been followed before at night, about 10:30 at night one time, right outside an apartment building. Our apartment, the street we lived on, didn't have street lights. There were two guys out there, they were scoping house to house, and I knew what they were up to, but when we left, one of them started following us at a distance, and I turned my head and noticed him in my periphery there, and so I just turned around, folded my arms, and waited. Not as a sign of aggression, not saying, you know, oh, I want to fight and kick your ass, I'm not some tough macho guy, but just to let him know that I wanted him to know that I know what he's up to. Okay? That kind of thing. And sure enough, he stopped for a couple seconds, then just turned around, went back to his buddy. Also, if you're drinking in a bar, and this is common sense anywhere, don't accept any drinks that somebody brings you that you didn't see the bartender for, or you don't know that person. It's a good way to get roofied. Don't go walking down any strange dark alleys at night. I mean, most of the exploration you want to do here is probably during the day. For me, it is. I mean, the weather here right now is beautiful. It's been raining. There are a lot of flood warnings out for Phnom Penh and areas south of there, especially on the border regions. But we've been getting our fair share of rain, as you probably can tell by this video. So this is when I like to get out and explore. And yeah, you're going down the pub street, you're probably safer than going to some little side alley bars, because there are a ton of people down there. And like I said, they'll look out for their own businesses, don't want a reputation of being the bar where people got roofied. So they're always trying to be vigilant to stop that kind of behavior. If you feel uncomfortable, don't be afraid to go up to somebody. You know, if a situation arises and you're like, I don't know about this, just go up to somebody. Pretend like you've known them for years, even if you never met them. Pretend to be their friend, and strength in numbers, right? And even if you're traveling here solo, you will make friends. You will meet people, both local and other expats, that are you're going to call your friends, going to be your best buds. Because I think in a especially with the expat community, it's very temporary, it's very mobile. People are always coming and going, and so I think you might not have long-lasting friendships with some of these people, especially if they leave, but you will have like really intense relationships and friendships when they're here, you know, and some of those will last, of course, afterwards. What am I looking at? She wanted me to look at something, I don't know what. No bugs there. While I'm out here, I'm also trying to collect some bug pictures. I'm going to set some trap pits in too, All you need is a couple plastic cups with some holes in the bottom in case it rains. Dig a hole up to the brim of the cup, cover it up with some branches and leaves, and come back in a couple days. See what kind of bugs fall in there. They can't get out. You won't get any flying insects, but get to see what kind of arthropods you have around any given area. But yeah, overall, you should be very safe here. You know, if you get an apartment, get one that has a gate and a lock. Although that can be a hassle sometimes, I do have to admit, for every good, there's a bad, right? I've noticed a lot of people, they just, maybe not the landlords, but the tenants, when they leave, no matter what time of day, they lock the gate. And that might not be a problem for you if you have a key. But like, sometimes we'll go to Luke's. I mean, most of the time we'll go to Luke's 2 or 3 in the afternoon and the gate's locked. And now, of course, you have to get a hold of Luke and say, hey, you got to come down, got to unlock the gate, we're here, let us in, that kind of thing. But it is good security. And some places have security cameras, some places don't. But I've never lived in a place where I felt at night I was unsafe, where I had to use any extra precautions. I didn't have to put any extra locks in my doors or hide anything. Most apartments here will have, like I said, locks on the doors, locks on the gate, and bars on the windows, just to stop people from reaching in with sticks or whatever and manipulating your stuff to grab through, pull through the window. So yeah, people have, I mean, you know, and here's the fact that you should be ready. If you lose something, if you lose your passport, you might get it back. If you lose your wallet, if you lose your phone, lose something else valuable, depending on who finds it, you're likely not to get that back. It's always good to ask around and post something in the forums. You know, hey, I lost my phone, but a lot of people have found out that they're just not going to get it back. That's basically it. So always be sure you know where your stuff is. I have a very specific way I like to put my things when I leave the house, even right now. Gimbal and phone is in my hand. Cigarettes and lighter and keys are in my right pocket. Any other things I need are in my backpack or in my left pocket. And when I put this away, these are both, the phone and the gimbal are both going in my backpack. And if it was night, I would turn it around to make it a front pack, so that nobody can sneak up on me after dark, especially if it's a very quiet, lonely, desolate area. I'm going to tell you something now that somebody told me. I worked briefly at a big open air mall, and open air, I mean it was inside, but everybody had different spaces they could take. It wasn't like they had storefronts. It was almost like a flea market, except a lot of new stuff, some used stuff. You know, this was before the internet, so it was kind of like an Etsy kind of place. Anybody could set up their shop and sell whatever it is they had. And I worked at a place, he took 3 spaces. It was a comic book and sports card place. He had a lot of very expensive valuable things there. I took care of the comic books, he took care of the sports cards. Because I was a comic book nerd, I read the Wizard guide every month, which told you how much each comic book was worth. And when people brought in their collections or individual comic books to be appraised, that would be my job. But his job was the sports cards. He really liked sports. He had a lot of very expensive cards in this one case. It was a glass case, like a Michael Jordan rookie card, Shaquille O'Neal rookie cards, which, you know, he had just started back then, so he knew the value he knew that was going to go up because Shaq come out of the gate and he was great. I think he'd only been playing in the NBA for 1 or 2 seasons at that point. But he also had very expensive coins. He dealt in that on the side, so he had some really expensive coins and other collectibles. That's where he kept his finest collection. But the lock on that thing was so cheesy. I've seen him try to open it before, and he didn't even get a chance to put the key in, and the thing would pop open, right? So like I had this really cheap, half-broken lock, and I asked him one day why he has such a cheap lock on his most expensive stuff. And this is when he gave me this advice. He said, locks are we only use locks to keep honest people honest. If a thief wants something, it don't matter what kind of a lock I have on there, he's going to get it one way or the other, because it's in his nature. An honest person might have a moment where they slip up, see an opportunity, and take it if it's available. But with a lock, they probably won't try, because for the most part they are very honest, law-abiding citizens. So that was his philosophy, and I think it was pretty good. Locks are just there to keep honest people honest. The thief wants it, he's going to get it. So that's some advice I'm passing on to you. Overall, you're going to be safe here. It's very, very safe. Safest place I've been to. As I've said before, people here are very friendly and forthcoming and generous. And I think you're going to do just fine. So I hope that answered some of your questions. If you have any more, leave them in the comments. And as always, be sure to like this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share it on your social media. Let other people know. And I always appreciate that. Also, check out all my links down below. Links to my PayPal, buymeacoffee.com/DDC, and my Patreon. Like I said, you'll get benefits from donating. And I really, really appreciate it. Got a couple days left. We need some stimuli. So feel free to hit those buttons down below. And you'll be put on the list to receive my weekly exclusive videos, where I go into detail about things much more than I do in my public videos. Also, there are links down below to my Facebook group, Bug Life, my other channel, Laughing on the Inside, my comedy podcast. Links to other channels vlogging in Cambodia that you might find interesting. Be sure to check all those out. I have 7, 8, 9 maybe. I lost track. Whenever I find a good one, I put it up there. And also on my social media. That's all down below as well. Alright. That'll do it for this one. Thank you guys very much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I will talk to you in the next one.